There are moments in human history when the veil that separates the seen from the unseen grows thin. Moments when a simple act of inquiry, a small curiosity about the world, opens a crack in the fabric of existence itself. In the year 1801, a man named Thomas Young set out to answer a basic question about the nature of light. He was not searching for God. He was not pondering the infinite. He merely wanted to know whether light moved like a particle or like a wave. And yet, without knowing it, he touched something far greater, something that even today our most advanced minds hesitate to fully acknowledge. By accident, he ignited a discovery that would ripple across centuries, quietly suggesting that reality itself is not as it seems, and that something or someone is intimately intertwined with everything that exists. Imagine, for a moment, the flicker of a candle in a dim room, its flame dancing in the invisible currents of the air. Young, with nothing more than candlelight and a sheet pierced by two tiny slits, orchestrated an experiment so innocent in its simplicity and yet so profound in its consequences that the echoes of it still reverberate through the walls of modern science. What he revealed was not merely the behavior of light, it was the strange and silent admission that observation itself shapes reality. That something about being watched changes the very essence of matter. That the universe responds not only to forces and laws, but to awareness. At first, the results were dismissed, misunderstood, quietly set aside in favor of more comfortable ideas. But as centuries passed and technology advanced, the strange truth refused to stay buried. The double-slit experiment became the foundation of quantum mechanics, a science that, rather than eliminating mystery, only deepened it. A science that whispered of a hidden architecture beneath existence, a science that inadvertently pointed toward the very characteristics humanity has long ascribed to God: omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience. Today, surrounded by the miracles of technology that this discovery made possible, we still wrestle with its most unsettling implication: that reality does not exist independently of the mind that observes it. That consciousness is not an accidental byproduct of matter, but perhaps its sculptor. In seeking to explain light, Thomas Young unwittingly cracked open a window into something far more extraordinary: the blueprint of existence itself and the silent, invisible mind that breathes life into it. This is the story of how science, without ever meaning to, proved the existence of God. At the heart of this accidental revelation lies a paradox so profound that even those who grasp its mechanics often recoil from its meaning. The double-slit experiment did not merely show that particles of light, photons, could behave like waves under certain conditions. It revealed something far stranger: that the very act of observing these particles determined whether they manifested as waves or as particles. In the absence of an observer, reality lingered in a state of endless potential, a shimmering field of possibilities where nothing was fixed, nothing was decided. But when watched, when measured, when attention was cast upon it, the potential collapsed into one specific form. Reality, it seems, requires a witness. This single discovery overturns centuries of assumptions about an objective, mechanical universe ticking away independently of human thought. Suddenly, the observer, the conscious mind, was no longer a passive spectator but an active participant, a co-creator of reality itself. In one delicate experiment, the boundaries between matter and mind blurred beyond recognition. No longer could science pretend that consciousness was an incidental epiphenomenon, a meaningless byproduct of complex molecules. Consciousness was now at the center of existence, its quiet gaze determining the shape of the very world it inhabited. In the background of these experiments, modern physics began whispering another secret, one even harder to face. Beneath the particles, beneath the waves, beneath the atoms and quarks, there existed not a structure of solid matter, but a vast, undifferentiated sea of pure energy, a quantum vacuum, an invisible field from which all things emerge and to which all things ultimately return. Empty space was not truly empty. It was teeming with invisible currents of raw potential, vibrating just beyond the limits of perception. The ancient sages once spoke of a boundless source, an infinite wellspring from which all life flowed. They gave it many names: the One, the All, the Divine Mind. Now science had stumbled upon it too, though cloaked in the sterile language of mathematics and probability. Yet behind the equations, the same truth glimmered. An omnipresent field, infinite in scope, capable of birthing entire universes with a whisper of intention. Through the lens of quantum discovery, the sacred words of mystics echoed anew. The universe was not a grand machine of cold gears and lifeless cogs. It was alive, conscious at its roots, shimmering with an intelligence so vast and subtle that we could only catch glimpses of it through experiments like Thomas Young's. And whether by cosmic design or serendipity, humanity now held a mirror to the face of existence and saw not chaos, but mind staring back. Imagine reality as a vast ocean at midnight, its surface unseen, its depths unknowable. Beneath the gentle swells lie creatures, currents, mysteries beyond comprehension. A single ripple upon that surface, a whisper of wind, the faintest touch, can set into motion waves that cross entire worlds. In this ocean, every particle, every atom, every breath of existence sleeps, waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for the eye that sees, the mind that notices, the hand that touches the water and calls forth the waves. This is the hidden architecture that the double-slit experiment revealed. It is as if existence itself lies dormant in a state of pure potential, dreaming countless dreams at once until consciousness awakens it, choosing one dream among many. Light is neither particle nor wave until we look. Reality is neither fixed nor fluid until we perceive. We are not travelers passing through a pre-written world. We are, at every moment, the authors of the script. The ancient metaphor of as above, so below takes on new meaning here. Just as a thought within the mind shapes emotions, decisions, and destinies, so too does the thought behind the universe shape the fabric of space and time itself. The universe does not exist out there. It unfolds through us, rippling outward from the point of awareness like rings in still water. And the quantum vacuum, the so-called emptiness from which everything arises, is not a void, but the silent heart of creation itself. It is the blank canvas upon which existence paints itself. It is the field of divine possibility, waiting for consciousness to breathe shape into it. If God is the creator, then the quantum vacuum is God's breath held in stillness, exhaled into form by the gentle act of observation. Every sacred story whispered through the halls of time, the divine speaking worlds into being, the dream of Brahman, the breath of life carried by spirit, finds its reflection here. The experiments of modern physics do not erase these ancient truths. They affirm them in a new language for a new age. The instruments of science, built to dissect and measure, have instead stumbled upon an ancient mystery. They have found that to know the universe is not merely to study it, but to participate in it. To observe is to create. To become aware is to weave a thread into the cosmic fabric. We are not separate from the all. We are the all, momentarily aware of itself, shaping itself, remembering itself through eyes that blink open in wonder. If reality bends beneath the weight of attention, if existence itself crystallizes under the gaze of consciousness, then no thought, no emotion, no fleeting desire is ever truly small. Each carries the potential to sculpt the landscape of what is to come. The double-slit experiment is not merely a curiosity locked away in the sterile halls of laboratories. It is the quiet blueprint behind every dream fulfilled, every destiny shaped, every life transformed. In the dim corridors of everyday life, we walk, surrounded by invisible fields of possibility, unaware that each step leaves an imprint, not just on the ground, but on the very substance of existence. When we dwell in fear, when we feed doubt, when we obsess over obstacles, we are collapsing the field toward those very outcomes, narrowing infinite roads into a single bleak pathway. But when we choose to see with faith, when we focus on solutions rather than problems, when we hold the vision of what could be rather than what is missing, we call into being realities that once slumbered unformed. This is the silent responsibility bestowed upon every conscious being. To know that our attention is creative is to realize that we are never victims of a static world, but co-authors of a living universe. Each thought is a brushstroke, each belief a thread woven into the great tapestry of time. Even at the smallest scale, the principle holds. In relationships, when we focus on trust and love, those qualities multiply. In careers, when we believe in opportunities rather than scarcity, doors seem to open where walls once stood. In personal growth, when we see possibility instead of limitation, the soil of the self becomes fertile, ready to blossom in ways we cannot yet imagine. The ancient mystics spoke of aligning oneself with the divine will, not by blind obedience, but by attuning to the silent symphony playing beneath all things. Modern science, unwittingly, has offered us the same guidance in different words. Align your observation, your intention, your consciousness, and the world will respond. The quantum vacuum, the field of endless potential, waits for the hand that dares to shape it, for the mind that dares to believe. Thus, to live fully awakened is to understand that reality is never imposed upon us. It is invited. It is whispered into form by the stories we dare to tell ourselves. And somewhere deep within the quantum sea, the source, the great and silent all, listens and responds, shaping itself to the shape of our dreams. Perhaps the greatest irony is that humanity set out to conquer nature, to dissect her secrets and chain her mysteries to the will of reason, only to find, in the deepest chambers of discovery, that we are not separate from her at all. We are woven into the very structure we sought to master. We are not detached observers peering into an indifferent void. We are the heartbeat of creation itself, the echo of the infinite in human form, shaping and being shaped with every flicker of awareness. Thomas Young's humble candle and slitted screen revealed more than the nature of light. They unveiled the truth that consciousness is not an accidental spark born of lifeless atoms. It is the sacred thread that binds existence. Through quantum discovery, we have glimpsed the ancient truth that mystics and sages carried across millennia, that God is not a distant entity, watching from some unreachable height. God is the breath behind the stars, the silence between heartbeats, the field of potential vibrating beneath every stone and every soul. Science, without intending it, has illuminated the oldest of mysteries, that the universe is mind, dreaming itself into form. And every dreamer, every soul who dares to imagine, to believe, to observe with intent, participates in the continuation of that dream. So now the question falls to you, not as a passive spectator, but as a creator wrapped in flesh and bone. Where will you turn your gaze? Upon what possibilities will you dare to cast the light of your attention? Every thought you entertain, every vision you nurture, every belief you choose is a brush upon the canvas of the cosmos. You're not waiting for reality to reveal itself to you. Reality is waiting for you to reveal yourself to it. The double-slit experiment showed us that the universe listens, waits, responds. And within that sacred dance of observation and creation, hidden in the spaces where science meets mystery, we find the silent answer to humanity's oldest prayer. You were never separate. You were never powerless. You have always been part of the all. In every breath, every thought, every glance into the infinite, you are proving that God exists by accident, by design, and by the simple, unbreakable act of being aware.